So I had a pretty good plan of what I was going to say, and then I got distracted. So I got notes, and I have a rough outline in my head, but I'll probably be as surprised as you are at the words that are about to come out of my mouth. Well, hi there. My name is Charles Ray Dawson. I'm the Associate Broker Residential Sales Manager at ProStar Realty. This is the Unnamed Real Estate Podcast, episode 192. And I am suffering the slings and arrows of outrageous IT problems, but I think I might have resolved it. You guys been watching this show, you've realized over the last couple of weeks, and it's like every time I start my recording, I will suddenly see my screen freeze, and then it sort of freaks me out. So I start doing these long pauses. You'll see me just sort of staring for no reason whatsoever. It's me trying to figure out whether or not this is going to catch up. Even right now as we're talking, instead of this nice, smooth, my preview screen I have right here is just all helter-skeltery and whatnot. And I can barely, it's very staticky. So anyways, I just, strange as this might sound, had to go in here and delete a whole bunch of pages on my PowerPoint presentation that I used when I show you the numbers and everything. Because every time I add another slide in to show you guys, I don't actually get rid of the old slide. I just been throwing new slides in the entire time. So of the 4 or 5 slides that you actually see during this presentation, there might have been something along the lines of 30 or 40 in the background, that we just never got to. So in fact, I'm going to try one more thing here just for shits and giggles. Hold on for a second. Okay, and hopefully that freed everything up. But we don't know. It still looks a little weird and whatnot. But anyway, so how are you guys all doing? I hope you're having as fun of a week as I am. I was originally planning on discussing, we talked about flood zones and stuff and the needs for flood insurance last week. I was sort of going to do a deep dive on insurance and the topic of homeowners insurance this time around, but got distracted by a couple other things, and I really want to get this recording done. So yeah, so you guys are getting a half-baked, half-ass, podcast today. So what's going on in the world? So nationally, different brokerages are still trying to figure out how to deal with this clear cooperation thing. Every state's responding it to a different way. I think Arizona's got a pretty decent way of dealing with it right now. Although I do feel like they are trying to keep too much of the old and not using this as a chance to completely revamp the entire system. But I think we're in a lot better position than other states are. Some states are just completely floundering around out there, it looks like. The only people who are currently benefiting from this entire thing are the very large brokerages and builders, of course. So, hey, that is what that is. Another article I saw, and this one really sort of hit home just because of some mini drama we're having here at ProStar, is 10 things new agents do to annoy experienced agents. Yeah, okay, so off the top, and what I mean by new agents and experienced agents is I've been doing this for, am I at the 15-year mark? No, I think I'm still at the 14-year mark. Anyways, anniversary was last week. I've been doing this for a while, all right? And the thing that annoys me when I'm dealing with new agents on the other side is, especially if they're with a big brokerage that they're not getting any decent mentoring from, is they don't know what they don't know. And a lot of times they don't want you to know how rookie they are. Now, I can look you up in about 30 seconds, okay, and figure out exactly how many transactions you've done in your lifetime. And if you're coming there with 1 or 2, I'm going to put the training wheels on for you. We're going to and some people are really, really accepting of that, and they're really okay with that. Other times, they try to bullshit you. Right? Now, I always encourage all my new agents, one, I make them call the other agent. I make them, learn how to do their job. And I'm sort of that throw them into the deep end and see if they can swim. So I make them make the phone calls. And I tell them, hey, let them know. Be straight up and honest with them. It might be the first time they ever have an agent going, hey, this is my first transaction. This is my second transaction. And my evil sales manager, Ray, told me I had to tell you that. All right. So if I ask you a stupid question or you don't think I'm getting a document over to you that I should, please let me know. All right. And I've never had an agent have a bad time doing that. I don't know why agents said that, well, if they know that I'm inexperienced, then they might take advantage of me. It's like, yeah, they might, but I doubt it. They should still be negotiating as hard for their client, regardless of your experience level. So, it's all the same. You're on the other side. All right? I don't care if you've been doing this for 30 years or 30 minutes. I'm still going to steamroll you in negotiations if I can. All right. So, but let's go through this list of 10 things here, because the first one is poor communication. New agents do not know how to communicate. They tend to text. All right. They have little panic attacks over the whole concept of, oh, wow, I have to talk to people on the phone. Yeah, kid, you got to talk to people on the phone. This is big boy world here. This is what adults do. All right. We talk. All right. We're in a communication business. All right. That's the focal point of what we do here. All right. So that's number one. They have very poor communication skills. And they also don't know when to give you, I communicate too much. All right. I think agents should be talking to each other, if not every day, at least once a week when we hit that little doldrums thing where we're waiting for, the lender to get done. All right. So number one. All right. Number two on this one is lack of training. All right. And I would add on to that, they're just letting these guys out there. All right. And they're just running all over the place. And they take their 90 hours, they pass their test, they go sign up with a big brokerage. They're supposed to be watching 16 or 17 different, training videos. They don't do in-house training like we do here. And then they grow out there and they think they can do anything. So they literally just, all right. And I blame their brokers for that. I really do. I don't know why brokers are allowing people to go out there in their name, all right, and conduct real estate when their employees do not know what they're doing. All right. So another one is lack of awareness. Sometimes they don't know. They just think they know everything already, right? And they're not aware of their strengths or weaknesses or limitations. I always use this term all the time. They don't know what they don't know. All right. So etiquette issues, that can go from how they impact with their clients, how they impact with your clients. Just the understanding of, hey, this is an occupied house and mom and her two kids are out in the minivan in the driveway. All right. Etiquette suggests you see the house, you get the hell out of the house. You don't sit down at the kitchen table and decide you're going to have a conversation for 15, 20 minutes about maybe another property. Communicate during business hours, texting, calling late hours. All right. Responding back to texts and phone calls. All right. Showing feedback. I'm very bad at this myself, because if I show 11 houses that day, I might not even remember yours. All right, but if somebody specifically calls out and say, hey, can you give me a little bit of feedback on that? Yeah, help a brother out. This is what I saw. This is what I didn't say. This is what my clients like. This is what I think you guys could have improved on, That's one. Vetting buyers. Oh my God. When people just take anybody, throw them in a car and go out there and don't really, especially with an occupied house or something like that. And it's like, these guys aren't coming across the finish line. You should have kicked them to the curb earlier on that. Sometimes these buyers have unrealistic expectations, and as an agent, you're supposed to curb those. All right. And that actually goes directly into number 8, not managing expectations. New agents don't properly set their clients up for the potential downstream things that are going to happen. Case in point, home inspections. Yeah, 120-page home inspection is not uncommon. There's a lot of bullshit stuff in there. All right, experienced agents know to prep their client so they don't open up a PDF file with 120 pages and freak out. Needing to manage expectations of availability of houses. You cannot expect a house to be available at 6 o'clock on a weeknight with a 1 hour notice. They're sitting down to dinner. They're doing homework. They're doing whatever it is. They're living their best life, right? Managing expectations of giving, the homeowner enough time, right, to facilitate you being able to come in there is huge. Number 7 on this is admitting when you don't know. I've had to catch people out on this because they're just afraid to say, hey, I'm new, or I don't know. Ray, could you, ask questions. Ask questions of everything. Don't be too ego driven where you're not able to put yourself out there and go, hey, I don't know this. So number 9, carelessness. You see this a lot in documentation, hitting deadlines, not locking up a house properly, not turning off all the lights, managing their clients when they're running around in the house, especially if there's children. All right. And number 10, not owning it. Hey, kid, you screwed up. Call up the other side. Say, hey, I screwed up. All right. Tell your client, hey, I screwed up. All right. I can't tell you how many times I caught somebody out, and the next thing you know, they were making every excuse in the world. Up to including my broker should have told me that. Well, yeah, your broker should have, but you decided to go with that brokerage and not ProStar. All right, so I just thought that was an entertaining article, and I am sending that one out to all of my newer agents, going, hey, this is, if you're not going to listen to me or Steve, hear it from these guys. These are the things you all need to work on. So, now a little bit more local news. Hairball. So, boy, I'm really getting raspy. I'm starting to sound like Robert Kennedy over here. I don't know. Local news. When we hit the numbers, you'll see the numbers, right? We're moving towards looking at an all-time high of listings since I started keeping track of these things. All right. And we're not quite there yet. We're only off by about 400, but you'll see, when you see the jump, you'll go, wow, we really jumped up this last week. One thing I did want to point out is, and this is fascinating, everybody who was waiting for the interest rates to come down, you missed it again. You missed it again. Okay, we had a brief 3-week window there. All right, and you kept wanting more. Kept wanting more. All right. Oh, it's not enough. I'm going to wait for it to come down. Well, what happened to the interest rates is that they've actually gone up again. It was October 22nd. All right, and this is numbers and whatnot. I'm reading off of Cromford here. We have the highest rates in 2 months with a 30-year fixed at around 6.2. Right. Meanwhile, active supply has increased 3.7 over the past week. So inventory is going up. But the big thing is we did have that brief little window right now. Now, I just got a text before I started recording from one of those random lenders here. The new conforming loan limit, and this would be for conforming loan for a Fannie or Freddie, is now 5.875 is today's conventional 30-year fixed rate. And whenever they say that, you always got to know that there's an overlay there. When they say 30-year fixed rate, they usually mean with a 20% down. All right. And they're also talking perfect credit score, 800 plus. All right. And they're also talking along the lines of you're probably paying at least a point to buy that down to the 5.875. Now, my Maricopa buyer, she closed, she got a 6. She got at 6. Right, so there's not much of a difference there. But she also locked that low rate in right when we were at the bottom. Right when that happened. In fact, her original loan quote was 6.12. Right, so 6 and an eighth. She got another eighth on the other side of that because they locked in at the bottom. Notice she was looking before then. She was writing offers before she locked that rate in. A lot of people, what happened is they keep waiting. They had that window. They didn't move on the window. They kept thinking they could do more. All right. And now they're a renter. So we're going to keep an eye on this. The reasons for the rate bouncing back up is we had the new employment numbers come in. The new market data number came in. Everybody starts saying, oh, maybe inflation's coming back. And they're so terrified of inflation, right, that now we're talking maybe we'll not see another rate cut. Or maybe it'll be a smaller one, right? What I said yesterday, though, that's just pillow talking, and we're going to start this all over again. So, yeah, rates have been going back up. I was talking to one of our lenders, and he was like, yeah, he knows a lot of people who got screwed because they didn't lock rates in, right? We might see some cancellation on the numbers, which I don't show on the on my numbers or anything like that. But coming back on markets, right? People who suddenly realize, oh crap, I can't afford this house now because I didn't lock the rate in. Well, we might be seeing those come back up. But let's look at the numbers real quick because I really wanted to point something out here to you guys. All right. And these are the numbers for October 9th, 2024. Actives this week are 20,158. We were up 581 from last week, right? Of those new listings were 2,251. That's also up 40 from the previous week. Our contracts went down to 1,995, down 12. Closings last week were 1,136. Coming soon to an MLS near you is 733. Our Cromford report supply is at 79.7, still creeping up. Our demand actually went up too to 75.2, but because of the ratio, our Cromford report number still dropped closer to the buyer side. We're at 94.5, still technically a balanced market. Now, one thing I wanted to really point up here is that we jumped 581. Contracts did not go down that much, all right, but we were still growing with new listings, right? I was expecting to hit 20,000 by the end of October, not mid-October. Definitely not the first third of October where we're at right now. So that actually shocked me a little bit. I had to go back and double check my numbers about 3 or 4 times to see what was going on with that. I'm starting to wonder whether or not if it's because I closed that door over there and if it just gets really stuffy in here, the next know I get all phlegmy and whatnot. But I was fine all morning. So anyways, we're still moving, this interest rate spike, and it's not really a spike. It's just tracking back up, all right? When we start hitting solid fives across the board, a whole bunch of stuff is going to break loose. Fortunately, we're going to have a lot of inventory. I mean, I think by the end of the year, we will probably see more inventory on the market than since I started tracking the stuff all the way back in the first few months of COVID. All right, so let's keep an eye on this space. We're really primed to have a really good next year if the rates go. Now, the rates are going to be driven mostly by the economy, and we're trying to figure out what's going to be going on with that. There's, depending on your news sources, and it's always a lot of fun, if there is a recession, are they going to just try to push it off so the next president or the next, has to deal with it? I don't know. All right, there's a certain amount of tinfoil hat theory when, they're manipulating the market. I just yeah. Problem with tinfoil hat theory is that I just read an article yesterday. It's the National Institute of Health actually came out with a report saying that fluoride in the water is bad for children. All right, that literally is right up there with flat earth stuff when we start talking about, hey, you guys are getting a little crazy over here on the your ideas, and now fluoride was right. Jesus, there's a joke out there that says the difference between a conspiracy theory and accepted fact is 6 months. All right, now it was funny at first. Now it's not funny anymore. What the hell, guys? All right, so let's look at our regional areas. Reds and greens. It's looking like Christmas over here. The guys at the top are going up. The guys at the bottom are going down. All right. Also not supposed to be an economic statement. All right, but Fountain Hills, all right, they're leading the pack at 190.8 on the Cromford. They're up 6% over last month. Scottsdale, Chandler, Paradise Valley, Glendale, Avondale, Mesa, Phoenix are all in our sellers market. Phoenix just barely there, and they probably won't be here come next month. All right, our balanced markets are Gilbert, Cave Creek, Tempe, Peoria. All right, and then your bargains are Surprise, Goodyear, Queen Creek, Maricopa, and Buckeye. Surprise is the only one of the buyers markets that are actually going up. They've gone up 7%, and there's Buckeye at the bottom right now at 65.9, down 4. Maricopa is at 66.8, down 4%. Queen Creek 69.1, down 5, and Goodyear's down 11 to 79.1. Those are your bargains, guys, especially Buckeye and Maricopa. If you're willing to drive and want a deal, that's where you need to be going. So, all right, so that's what we got going on in real estate right now. I'm noticing that for all the talk and all the drama of the commissions and that, we're not seeing a lot of serious impact. A little bit more conversations with the seller side, more of a conversation with the buyer side. I'm noticing that buyers and sellers seem to be a lot more educated than they were when it first happened. Any seller out there who did the, I'm not going to pay anything, suddenly decided to start offering something to the buyer's closing costs, right, when they realized the downstream impact of it. Other things we got going on along those lines is it's still, it's still a housing economy, right? People still need housing as a necessity. It's not a, it's a need, not a want, right? Now, if for some reason you actually happen to be homeless, I do have some facilities to help you out with that, especially if you're a veteran. And I do know of at least 3 seats that are open for any women who are having issues having housing. A friend of mine runs a boarding house for women. She has 3 beds available. It will cost you about $750 a month to live there. All utilities are paid in that amount, and you are getting a bed and the use of the common area facilities. Boarding houses coming back, right? And I'm actually thinking this is a good thing. What else we got going on? Not a lot. I've been mostly up to my eyeballs in VFW post stuff. So let's wrap this up. No fancy segues. From the top, say it with me, boys and girls, follow the bouncing ball at the bottom of the screen, all right? Always watch your children and pets around water. I should be doing this one. Always watch your children and pets around water. Do not drive into anything flooded, especially if you're in Florida, all right? Always work your circles now more than ever. Remember, that starts with your mental mindset. That starts with your physical health. It goes to your friends, close friends and family, and then your community out from there. The farther out circle is, the less you should be paying personal attention to it. The closer in, the more you should be paying attention to it. Take a look at your screen time on your phone. See how much time you spent wasting watching videos about things you have nothing to do with or no interest in, and it has no personal impact on your life, including this one. Turn your phone off. Use your phone to call your mother. Tell her that you love her. And I will see you guys next week.